and guests, District Governor Herb Orr and Carol are right over here. Thank you for joining us today for this historical picture. Today our invocation will be given by Tom Gudgel and Song and Pledge by past President Linda Bradshaw. And on the piano is Tom. Thank you, Tom.
I invite you to join with me in my invocation. God of creation, as we gather here today as Rotarians, remembering 100 years of service through the Rotary Club of Tulsa, thank you for opening our eyes to opportunities to help others and to serve our community and the world. As representatives of Rotary to our community, may we continue to conduct our affairs ethically, honoring the trust others place in us, and enjoying our fellowship with each other. Always testing our motives and endeavors by asking, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are thankful for this food and for those who prepared it. We are thankful for this time together. And with your help, we look forward to the next 100 years of service above self.
Amen. Please join us in singing America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now it's time to introduce the Rotarians of the day, past Presidents Linda Bradshaw and Tim Colwell. As you know, these two exemplify our service above self motto in everything they undertake. They are Club Foundation Fellows and Paul Harris Fellows. Linda was president in 2006 and 7, and Tim followed her as president in 2007 and 8. Please welcome Rotarians of the day, past Presidents Linda Bradshaw and Tim Colwell.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you, President Rhonda.
Thank you, President Rhonda. Tim, what a great day for this Rotary Club of Tulsa and for our great city.
Absolutely, Linda. This is a day where history is in the making.
Today we're going to record and document the membership of this club with a gigantic photo on the Centennial Rotary Plaza on the Williams screen.
This is the first photo, group photo that we know of since 1935. And this is like, we talked about herding cats. Well, we're going to be getting together. And we think that this is going to be such a major undertaking. I don't know, maybe this could be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
More than likely.
At least for Tulsa.
The directions for today are very simple.
First of all, you got to get out of the room quickly.
Or as quickly as you can, safely.
And then in your car, on the shuttle, on foot or bicycle, but no dilly-dallying.
Whoops. I just got a telegram from Ed Monette. He says, no stray cats today.
No stray cats, okay. If you need a parking pass, we really do have limited number, and they're out at the badge table. But please carpool. We prefer that you take the shuttles, but if you have to park, we arrange for parking in the central parking garage right below Rotary Plaza, right below the Williams Center Green. And there's directions there, but we do have a limited number, so please carpool if you do drive.
So now, Tim, let me ask you this. Is the mayor and G.T. Bynum going to be joining us today?
I don't know, are they?
Does he know?
Yep.
Yes?
They are.
Oh,
Okay,
all right,
great.
absolutely.
Yes, all right.
Great. So, thank you, Mayor. You know, Rotarians, it's always a distinct honor when we have our mayor come and speak to us, and so what a great privilege today to have the mayor here. It's very historic.
And we're also thrilled to welcome back our former member, Councilor G.T. Bynum. So, Rotarians, as we are on a very tight schedule today, let me just encourage you to join us in welcoming the mayor of the city of Tulsa, our honorary Rotarian, Dewey Bartlett.
Oh. That's what happened. Thank you. Please sit down. Well, thank you very much. You know, we have to take what they said to heart. If they said, hurry up, we can't mess around. So let me tell you why we're here today. I like to see him really get antsy now. Well, let me tell you why we are here. Thanks very much for allowing GT and I to squeeze in a few minutes of your time. 100 years. Congratulations. What a great, great day this is for the downtown Rotary, but especially for the city of Tulsa. And thank you for all the great things that you have done for our city and our community. With our need to cut expenses this year, government efficiencies became more important than ever. You may ask why. Well, let me tell you more about this year's budget to explain the challenges that we faced and why I'm so concerned about going forward without making transformational changes in our city's budget. Well, let's look at our 14-year sales tax history. Remember, the state of Oklahoma, and this is important, the state of Oklahoma requires by ordinance that we municipalities rely on sales tax collections as our sole and primary source of tax revenue. On this slide, please notice that the Consumer Price Index, the blue line, has outpaced the growth of our sales tax every year since the year 2001. The blue line, it's also the rate of inflation, shows where we should be just to stay even. Just to stay even. Now look at the yellow line. Those are the actual tax receipts we received on an annual basis for the last 14 years. See that first dip? That's when the economy entered a recessionary period for a couple of years. Remember, at that point in time, we had to close 7 recreation centers and eliminate a lot of positions in our city government. That's when that happened, that very first dip, when our Parks Department really took a nosedive. We could not afford to support all of our departments, very simple. Things gradually improved until the year 2008, and that's when we see a very sharp dip. That's the worst recession that we've experienced in our city and in this country since the Great Depression of the 1920s. All city employees took significant reductions in salary and benefits. Over 100 police officers were laid off. We closed down additional rec centers and eliminated even more positions. It was a very bad time that we've had difficulty recovering from. Then in 2011, things began to pick up again, but our rate of growth in tax revenues has been slight at best. You can see a $20 million gap between our tax receipts and what the value of that should be, again, just to keep up with the rate of inflation. Next slide, please. This shows that the city's sales tax revenues over that 13-year period of time has only grown by $50 million. So what happened to that $50 million? 84% of that growth was used to pay for public safety, for our police department and our fire department. Everybody else of our 23 departments in our city received only 16% of that $50 million growth. Next slide, please. So how are the general fund monies being spent today in today's budget? Of the total revenues that are in our general fund today, 61% of it goes to public safety. 5 years ago, it was about 55%. All other departments share in the other 39% of our current state of affairs, the revenues in our general fund. So what happens when the revenues decline? In our current budget, we made a decision because public safety is a core service that we provide to the community, we made a decision and a priority not to have substantial cuts to public safety. Our initial proposed budget, we had to cut by $17 million. So when we started making the cuts, they had to be made within the non-sworn departments. In other words, every other department besides public safety, in order to balance the budget. They continue to maintain services today with fewer people to provide a similar rate of service. They do an outstandingly good job, but with fewer people. We can't do this forever, so we need a solution. So what are we going to do? Next slide, please. I have proposed that the sales tax that is expiring in 2 years, in the year 2016, that presently funds Vision 2025, which is 0.6 of a penny, I propose that we take a portion of that expiring tax and use it for public safety. Set it aside solely for public safety. With reallocation of 0.2 of a penny of that tax, we can provide and will be able to provide significantly more police officers, firefighters, a badly needed fire station for each Tulsa with staff, and provide for safer streets and much better maintained streets, all without raising taxes. The funding would generate, this is at 0.2 of a penny, would generate $14 million annually. It would not replace the amount of money that we're presently spending out of the general fund. It will supplement it and will relieve pressure on other department budgets that have borne the brunt of the cost cutting that I mentioned earlier. This money, the $14 million annually, would be set aside in a separate account, separate from the general fund. Police and fire departments would continue to receive their appropriate share of the general fund monies, but they would have additional funds to hire and train and pay more firefighters and police officers every year as needed to reach and maintain the recommended levels of staffing and service. This is what we can achieve if the public does pass our public safety proposal or something close to it. Next slide, please. This is what we can achieve. 70 new police officers, 34 new firefighters would pay for their training, their salaries, their benefits, their equipment for 10 to 20 years at least. And it would be in a whole separate account for that specific purpose, would not be used to pay additional salaries to existing personnel. That's an important point. This is how we can take better control of our budgetary problems in today's restrictive market. This is how we can finally open up a new fire station in East Tulsa and lower everybody's insurance rates in East Tulsa. This is how we can form crime-fighting task forces without pulling officers away from their primary job, which is exactly what happened and what we did when we formed a task force for the serial rapist not too long ago. It's exactly what we're doing right now with having a 4-person task force that's focused on downtown to get rid of the aggressive panhandlers and activities such as that. This is how we can avoid significant overtime costs. This is how we can provide much improved maintenance for our city streets again, did I mention, without raising taxes. Next slide, please. This is not necessarily a new proposal. Many other Oklahoma communities have a dedicated public safety tax. It is proven and it is successful. As a reminder, I'm proposing that Tulsa would use 0.2 of a penny. Every city on this list and others as well, everybody approaches it in a different way, and we would do the same. We would do it as it fits Tulsa. We have a unified effort toward the goal to fund public safety. We all need to realize it's not just additional manpower needs. My proposal includes things such as new and additional lighting in our streets, especially in the neighborhoods, new striping on the streets, full-time, year-round maintenance crews for our streets, not only to fill potholes, but to maintain our streets so that the tremendous investment that we're making in them now, they will last decades longer and not have to be rebuilt prematurely. These are things that make our life in our streets much safer and certainly much more efficient in how we use our personnel and use our funds. I'm truly thankful that our city council, the entirety of our city council, are in agreement with moving forward, and I appreciate their efforts. Well, I appreciate your attention and your listening. This is a very, very important thing that we are embarking upon. In conjunction with this, we obviously are very interested in water in the river at the same time. I'd now like to introduce Councilor G.T. Bynum, my good friend, for Phase 2 of our roadshow. This is the premier edition. I'm not sure what we can call it, but it's good. G.T.
Roadshow sounds a lot better than organ grinder monkey, which is kind of what I was expecting. Well, first, before we have a little video we want you all to see, but I want to make one thing very clear. I am actually a member of this club. Tim knows how to twist the knife of guilt on my attendance record, but I am a dues-paying member. We have a video now that we put together just to give a brief overview of this issue. I don't know if that's ready to run or not. Okay, if we could run that, and then I'll yammer on afterwards.
What's one of the main ingredients to Tulsa's success for future growth? The Arkansas River and all of its life-giving elements. Our river holds the greatest untapped potential for not only the city, but our entire region. For the past 25 years or so, citizens have closely followed a variety of studies on how we can further develop our most precious resource, the Arkansas River. We now have a plan on where the dams will be and what they'll look like. By creating 2 large lakes with shallow areas in between, we will be able to maximize the natural flow of the river. So why is it the right time to add water to the river? The Arkansas River can become a hub of cultural, recreational, and entertainment opportunities for people of all ages. The river can also play an important role in keeping our own young people here, while attracting and retaining young talent who will make their home here in Tulsa.
For us, river development has been a huge key component to attracting and retaining young talent.
The Arkansas River can also be a source for economic development that can create value for all of the communities within our city and our entire region. This includes funding for a new Zinc Lake Dam and additional low water dams in the river.
I hope whatever measure that's put out there that the individuals in our beautiful city can see the potential of growth and see the future.
Now, more than ever, it's the right time to move forward with adding water to our river. We have the political will of the city, county, and nearby communities to focus on accomplishing this vision. From Mayor Bartlett to all 9 Tulsa City Councilors, county commissioners, and mayors and leaders from nearby cities. Everyone is in agreement about building low water dams in the Arkansas River. In 2013, Mayor Bartlett and Tulsa City Councilors formed the Arkansas River Infrastructure Task Force to make recommendations on constructing or refurbishing low water dams in the river. We now have a collective effort and a united plan we can come up with together.
Hopefully, all of us together this time will say water in the river is a key to our future.
It's also the right time to take advantage of the city's greatest natural asset and build upon private investment presently underway. The Creek Nation's $335 million Margaritaville near 81st and Riverside Parkway, and the George Kaiser Family Foundation's funding of a gathering place for Tulsa at 26 and Riverside will form 2 spectacular bookends along Tulsa's scenic river corridor. Additional federal funding in the form of a Tiger Grant will help with road improvements along Riverside Drive to make easier accessibility to our parks and entertainment venues.
We are awarding $10 million to help turn Riverside Drive into a complete street that will increase safety for cyclists and pedestrians and connect to the new gathering place when it opens in 2017.
Our River Task Force continues to look for possible funding sources to help with the redesign, refurbishing, and future maintenance needs for the river and the dams. It's especially important to know the redesign will make the river safer and will assist with flood control. American poet John Hines wrote, "To live by a large river is to be kept in the heart of things." If our river had a voice, it would tell us to celebrate its life-giving elements, bring it into view, show it off, use it well, reflect on its power, and develop its potential. And it would tell us to be careful, make good decisions, protect it and its inhabitants, and bring people to it and enjoy it.
Long term, we need multiple points of economic development along the river. I don't want to see the entire river covered with economic development because we want these natural areas.
Done right, development on the river can be a beautiful attraction for residents and visitors while protecting its banks, its habitat, and its scenic beauty. So what do we need to do to move our city and region forward? Just add water. By giving our waterway the depth and breadth it needs, it can be a major regional attraction and economic tool.
I can't imagine a single Tulsan that doesn't jump for joy whenever we finally get water in the river.
Well, that does a good job of giving you a little overview of what we've been working on. I think it's important first to understand why we're looking at this. I would ask those of you in this room who've lived here for a while, is anybody here willing to raise your hand and say that the city does a better job of maintaining itself today than it did 40 years ago? I've yet to get a hand raised to that question in any group that I've gone to. And the reason for that is very simple. 40 years ago, we had people that lived in suburban communities that would come to Tulsa and do their shopping, folks from Broken Arrow, Owasso, Sand Springs. But over time, they wised up and realized that they can build their own Walmarts. They can build their own malls. They don't have to do all of their shopping in Tulsa. And so those people who had been subsidizing operations in Tulsa for the police and fire, like the mayor was talking about, and the maintenance of city facilities, they've gone and started doing that in their own communities. And so over that period of time, you've seen the growth of our suburban communities off the charts, while Tulsa's population has remained relatively stagnant. This isn't an issue that's localized to Tulsa. This is something that's happened in cities all across America. And we've been fortunate as a group, between the mayor and the council and representatives from the chamber, to go around the country over the last 5 years or so and look at other cities that are counteracting that phenomenon successfully. And the common trend that they share is that they identified key, unique, world-class assets that they could focus on that would draw people back into their community. In Tulsa, in my opinion, we have 3 of those to begin with. We've got downtown Tulsa and the hundreds of millions of dollars of world-class architecture and infrastructure that's there. And we've done a great job over the last decade of capitalizing on that and investing in it. We have Gilcrease Museum and the world-class art collection that is there. And over the last 10 years or so, the city of Tulsa has handed over the management of that facility to the University of Tulsa, and they've done amazing work with it. But the third one is one that we've been talking about really since about the time the city of Tulsa was founded along the Arkansas River back in the late 19th century because of its location, the ability to take a ferry across there and get cattle and goods across the river. I have in my office at City Hall a report that was given to my granddad when he was street commissioner in 1964. And it is essentially the same plan that we're talking about today. So why is this different? Why is the road show today different than what's happened over the last, let's just say, 50 years? Well, there are 3 big reasons for that. First of all, we have the elected leadership of the region on board with there being low water dams in the Arkansas River. In the past, when this issue came up, that was the debate. That's as far as we really got into the details, was whether or not there should be dams. Well, right now, as you saw in the video, all 9 city councilors are on board with this, including councilors from North Tulsa and East Tulsa who have opposed dams in the past and the taxes that would be necessary to build them. You also have, in my opinion, as good a working relationship inside City Hall between the mayor and the council as we've had at least since I've been there in 2008. Yeah. But the circus will come back to town. And so it is important that we capitalize on the environment that we've got while we have it. So we put together this task force, drawing together not just people within the city of Tulsa, but we involved the county, we involved mayors from neighboring communities and the Creek Nation. And we brought everyone together at one table to learn everything at the same time, to work through the issues at the same time, and to discuss it as a group, as a region. That's something that really hasn't happened in the past when it came to the Arkansas River. That level of collaboration has also allowed a great deal more scrutiny into the plan than it's been subject to in the past. We've identified the need to really develop our engineering on any dam proposal, DAM proposal, before that's brought to the voters. Now, I'm confident if we held a vote next week, we could get the city council to put a proposal on the ballot with numbers and hoping that they were right. But it's important to us and important to the mayor that we do it the right way, as long as it takes to get a good, solid proposal before the voters. The second big difference that we have between now and in the past is that we're looking at local funding. Historically, we've looked to the federal government to do this for us, or we've looked to the state of Oklahoma to do this for us. I think there is a sense, and not just at City Hall, but I sense it throughout the community, people are sick of waiting on other people to do this for us. We want to seize our own destiny and take advantage of an opportunity that's there. Now, doing that gives us a lot more options than we had. In the past, and most recently, probably the best example of this would be in 2007 when a vote was brought forward. You have to remember the cities that benefit most from this, Tulsa, Jenks, Sand Springs, and Bixby, the shared unit of governance for those cities was Tulsa County. But that also includes communities like Owasso and Broken Arrow that admittedly don't benefit as much from river development as the cities that are right on the river do. And yet they were asked to vote for it. And if you look at those votes, that's what killed those votes. They passed in Tulsa and Jenks and Bixby. But they didn't pass in the other communities by a wide enough margin that it killed the proposal. What we're looking at right now is the ability for just those cities that truly benefit from this to band together and to have a proposal as a group. That has not been an option at our disposal in the past. The third big difference, and then I'll be quiet, the third big difference that we have going for us now that folks didn't have in the past is the tremendous demonstrated opportunity that's out there. In the past, when this has been brought forward, you would have the people that say, well, there's the PSO facility, there's the refinery, there's lots of parks. We're going to build these dams and then no one's going to develop it. Well, I don't take it as a coincidence that the largest public park gift in the history of the United States of America is going in on the 0.8 of a mile where there's reliably water in the Arkansas River. The Creek Nation is going to spend $400 million on their facility in the hopes that there will be water in the river. That's just two projects, $750 million between those two. And you think about that, that represents a small percentage of the shoreline. There's 22 miles of shoreline that go through our community of the Arkansas River. That's a tremendous range of opportunities. So the work for us right now and where we are is that our task force, as was mentioned, has been meeting since December. We continue to meet. We are not going to put something on the ballot until we are confident that we've got all of our numbers right and that we're going to put something out there that people can vote with confidence to know that it will be built on time and on budget. The last thing that I'll throw out there that's unique about what we're talking about right now and different, and I credit our fellow Rotarian, Councilor Phil Lakin, on this idea that he brought up, which is the idea of building the long-term maintenance cost into the construction cost. So that when we tell people you're going to vote on this, that will also have a maintenance endowment built into the cost of building it. Because government, and the city government especially, is historically great at building things with absolutely no idea how it's going to be maintained for the long haul. This would take that issue off the table, and people could have confidence in knowing that they're going to vote on something and it's going to be properly operated, properly maintained in perpetuity. So, thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity. I know we're on a short time frame, but I would encourage all of you to come to the meetings that we have. It's important that the public be involved in this process so that the final proposal that does come forward is one that's been well vetted and well scrutinized. Thank you.
What an exciting time for Tulsa. Thank you, Mayor Bartlett and Councilman Bynum. We all look forward to the future of Tulsa. Books recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton. We have Bugs 3D snapshots and Farm Animals 3D. I won't tell you who signed which book. Okay. We have one committee meeting today, Club Foundation Trustee. This is after the photo. You come back and go to room 233. I do have something very sad to tell you today. As some of you may already know, former Rotarian Ann Richards Ketchum passed away this past Sunday. Memorial service is tomorrow at 11 at the College Hill Presbyterian Church. Ann, who is a very kind and wonderful woman, she was very active while she was a Rotarian, and matter of fact, her daughter, Celia Ketchum, was one of our outbound youth exchange students. I encourage you to go to the funeral if you can, and also to extend your condolences to the Ketchum family. We have an off-site meeting next week at Celia Clinton, so don't come here. We won't be here. You need to go to Celia Elementary School, and we will be dedicating our playground equipment in honor of Mike Chittum's memory. Instead of the usual supplies that we gather for them, there's a little card on your table, so look to see what they're needing this time. They're asking for some sports equipment to go with their new playground. Also, mark your calendar for October 22nd. Speaking of Celia Clinton Schools, you'll have an opportunity to host these children at the Night of the Opera, so John Raines will be putting more in your Monday Minute. Also, be watching your email box. This week, November 5th, the Business Visitation Day will start hitting your email box on where you'd like to go. I already mentioned that next week we're at Celia Clinton, and then the next week we're going to have our own district governor, Herb Orr, coming to speak to us. I can't ring the bell today because our meeting continues. So, now, Mayor, if I can ask you and GT to escort me to the shuttle buses, we'll be making our way to the Rotary Centennial Plaza on the Williams Green for the photo of the century. Now we need some closing music. Roll and roll.